Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome. I am just another Pokedad, and if you know where I stole my intro from, you're my kind of geek, and I say geek lovingly. Today, I am going to be showing off my list for my newest Cosmic Eclipse version of Mew3. I call this deck Fuego because it obviously running off the welder engine. Because if you're not, man, are you even playing standard right now? I don't know. Smarter guys than I can do it, but not me. And I don't even know that this is a great list, but it's my list, and hopefully it's good. And if you have suggestions, I'd love to hear them. But obviously, we're running 4 copies of the Perfection Mew and Mew2 and Mew GX tag team, 270 HP, Perfection ability. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any Pokemon GX or EX on the bench or in your discard pile. You still have to have the energy, but this is such a great attack. Miraculous Duo GX, probably won't be using that as your GX move, but it does 200 and heals all damage if you have 1 extra energy attached. So it's a decent one, but really perfection. So you're susceptible to power plants, and you're weak to psychic, so that's kind of trouble. But anyway, all right, so we're running 4 copies of that bad boy that you can no longer see. But, and then we're running 1 copy of Marshadow with the resetting hole so that you can discard him from your bench and discard, get rid of a stadium. He's nice to have so you can get rid of those power plants at the time you need to. He's always a good little bench sitter for you. Okay, we were running 1 copy of Latios GX. So you can tag purge, copy that one, and during your next turn, prevent all damage done by attacks from your opponent's tag team. This is really good against Mew decks, Mew3 decks. It's also very good against Pikarom decks because typically their main attackers are tag teams, typically. We are running 1 copy of the Greninja GX from Detective Pikachu. Because of Mist Slash, it isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so it gets through Latios, it gets through Keldeo, it gets through Hoopa. The other nice thing is it has this elusive master ability where if it's the last card in your hand, you can put it right on your bench and draw 3 cards, so you can skip evolving it, and it's a good little draw. So in your discard or get it on your bench if you need to draw. Those are 2 things you could do with it. But it's a good one to get through 130 damage, and it gets through the Latios GX effect or Keldeo. We're running 1 copy of Espeon and Deoxys GX tag team, mainly for cross division GX. If you have 3 extra energy on it, put 20 damage counters on. Otherwise, you do 10 damage counters, but you put 20 on. That's a great way to spread damage. Can finalize a bunch of knockouts kind of thing. So that's definitely a good addition. So Galio GX, Turbo Strike, does 120 and get 2 basic energies attached from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. Such a good attack. If you can make this your first attack of the game, that's pretty decent. You know, get some energy rolling. We're running 1 copy of Naganadel GX for Venom Shot, discard 2 energy, and you do 170 to any one of your opponent's Pokemon. Again, it's a nice way to snipe around things, avoid spell tags, etc., etc. So that's a good one. And then we're running 3 copies of Dedenne GX for the Dede change, so you can discard your hand and draw 6 cards. 3 copies of that. That's your main draw engine in this deck. And then we get into the Fuego part of the Mew Fuego. We're running 1 copy of Reshiram and Charizard. Outrage is a nice attack. 2 energy, doing if you've been damaged. Because if you're not knocked out, it's a good way to Outrage does 10 damage for each damage counter on the Pokemon plus 30. So, you know, if they miss the knockout, if you were to get Flare Striked for 230 and not knocked out, you'd be able to do 260 in return, which is pretty decent. Not a pure knockout, but pretty decent. Double Blades GX is a decent GX. 3 fire energy does 200, but if you have 3 more fire energy, it does another 100 and gets through any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So goodbye any protections, 300 damage, you're knocking everything out. And then we're running 1 copy of the new Charizard and Braixen, Brilliant Flare. If this is the attack you use every turn, or at the beginning of the game, you will set yourself up nicely. 180 damage, which is good, not great, but you get to search your deck for 3 cards and put them in your hand and then shuffle your deck. This is just a brilliant attack, and Mew can just abuse it. You grab the things you need to set up for the next turn. I mean, it's just so good. And then we're running 1 copy of the Charizard GX promo, Flare Blitz GX, 4 energy, 300 damage. Yikes. And then the 140 is decent, but in this deck, if you're going to be doing a 4 damage, you know, an attack for 4 energy, this is your attack for 4 energy. The Brilliant Flare. That's what you want to be doing. But you've got it for 140 if you have to. And then lastly, Reshiram and Zekrom. Fabled Flare Bolts, 90 times. Discard up to 3 combination of fire and lightning from your bench Pokemon, and it deals 90 for any card you deal this way. So if you discard 3 energy, 270 damage for a 2 energy attack. Yes, you have to get rid of 3 energy, but a lot of people in the Mew deck run Macargo GX, and the thing is, you have to discard more from Macargo to do the same amount of damage. It does cost you a lightning energy, and I'll show you what we're doing about that. And that's your Pokemon line. Okay, so supporters, welder, obviously the welder engine. We're running 4. If you can welder at turn 1, you're doing great. That's what you need to do. Welder. And then we're running 3 Guzman Hala, which I don't have, so I've got other tag teams in here just to represent the fact that it's 3 Guzman Hala. And the reason is you get to search for a stadium card, reveal it, put it in your hand. This is great against decks that are going to try and out-stadium you with your power plants. So you can't run with power plants out. So you need to Guzma and Hala. And then when you play this card, you can discard 2 other cards from your hand, which is great to get rid of things so that you can copy them. But you can also search for a tool card and a special energy. And that's how we're going to get our lightning, is through that. Okay, oops, sorry about that. Little bump there, little bump. Okay, I'm going to run down the other trainer cards. 4 mysterious treasures. That way you can search out your dragon or psychic Pokemon and discard in the process. We're running 2 copies of Switch because you cannot get stuck in this deck. That is awful. Reset Stamp, 2 copies of Stamp. Because if you're getting knocked out, they're going to take 3 prizes off your Mews, hopefully less off your bench, and I'll show you why. But you're trying to play oops, sorry, lost you there. You're trying to play the 8 7-8 prize trade game here. Okay, so we are running 2 copies of Great Catcher in order to grab GX or EX so you can get the big knockouts, because that's what you want to be doing with this deck. It's not good against 1 prize decks, Malamar, etc., etc. It's not going to do you any good against those matchups. So it's a discardable card off those. And then we're running 4 tag calls. Search your deck for 2 tag team cards, reveal them, and put them in your hand. I mean, all your Mews, you've got Espeon and Deoxys, Reshiram and Charizard, you've got all your Fuego, and then 3 of your tag team supporters. This is such a good card. It's unreal, and we're running 4 copies of that. 4 copies. We're running 2 copies of Stealthy Hood. Prevent all effects of your opponent's abilities done to the Pokemon this is attached to. This is to get around the new little Marshadow bad boy, and anything that is going to affect you. We're running 2 copies of it because I'm afraid of Marshadow. And then we're running 2 copies of Island Challenge Amulet. Attach it to a GX or EX. It's minus 100 HP, but if it's knocked out, your opponent by an opponent's attack, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize. And the idea is throw this onto on your bench. You kind of typically only want to have Dedennes, but with Great Catcher out there, really susceptible to pull up knockout. So we give them the fact, yeah, you only need 60 to knock it out, but you only get 1 prize. That's the goal in this deck. If you've got a bench Dedenne, which is kind of the only thing other than Mews you really want on your bench in most matchups. In other matchups, obviously, you're going to play a little differently, but you want to, don't worry about it. You draw, attach your amulet to Dedenne, and yeah, if they knock them out, they take a prize. Big deal. No big whoop, eh? So we're running 2 copies of the amulet. And then our stadiums, 2 Lysander Labs and 2 Chaotic Swells. The Lysander Labs, obviously, to get rid of spell tags and any other thing, you know, like you'll disable, I mean, granted, you're disabling these as well, but in the right matchups, you want to, I mean, you know, you need to be able to disable Sylveon, Gardevoir, Charms, etc. So we're running 2 Lysander Labs and 2 Chaotic Swells, and I love Chaotic Swell. So they have a power plant out. You have to replace it, so you Guzman Hala and you grab your Chaotic Swell. So now you throw this down, get rid of their power plant. Now if they want to replace this, it eats up their stadium. So this gets discarded by a stadium, and then the one that's replacing it also gets sucked into the swell. So this is just awesome, because this could really take care of 2 power plants if you play it right. Wait for them to put it out, then take it out, then leave it. If they need to get rid of this, they gotta, you know, Faba maybe, but, you know, or they're going to have to Marshadow, then play a stadium. So you're doing your job with these. These are really getting rid of a couple cards, I think. Okay, so that's those. Energy-wise, we're running 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fire, 1 psychic. We're running 2 weakness guard energies, and then we're running 2 unit energies, searchable by Guzman Hala, that are both psychic and lightning there, which is great for that. And then this one is water and fire, which you need both those. I mean, if you're going to use Greninja, you need the water off this one. So you've got 3 unit energies, all searchable in this deck, which I like. So weakness guard, also searchable in the right matchup. So you've got options. This is the deck Fuego. I'm going to try testing it out in some battles. So check back and we'll see how it goes. And please give me your suggestions. I would love to hear them. This is my first run at this particular list, and I'd like to see how it goes. But otherwise, thank you for watching. And as always, be happy, be safe, and be kind. Thanks for watching.